Almost 3 years ago, I began documenting my progress in the painting techniques I had learned while watching YouTube. I'm glad to say I've come a long way since then, but there's always more to learn, practice, and share. So, bienvenidos and welcome to my channel. Episode 55 The Painting of Miss Fortune Part 2. My wife is a huge fan of Miss Fortune from League of Legends. I've been promising to paint her a statue I found online and printed last year. Finally, I got to this project started. So come and follow along with my progress. Last time it was all about that base. But this time I'm finishing up the details on that base and then moving on to the main statue. Going back over the base using the same colors from last time, I went around the entire piece and removed any blotches or overlap, as well as cleaned up the lines. I'm happy with the results, and the next step will be to add some washes and maybe some more highlights, but that'll be done towards the end of the project. It was time to move on to the main statue, and I decided I wanted to work from the top down. So I began with her signature oversized pirate hat. Using Pro Acryl Satin Black, I covered the hat, corset, and boots with 2 even coats. I love how smooth the results are. I think it's my now go-to for any black fabrics. Of course, I would love to show you the part where I painted her hat and one of her boots, but my after-work brain that night forgot to hit record. So, we're starting with the next night, and the other boot, and the corset. Once the two coats were dry, I went back over the main section of her hat and did the edge highlighting with more satin black mixed with increasing amounts of Pro-Acryl Slate Gray with each layer. I'm not completely sure about the results, but I want to wait until the statue has had some more paint on it before I make any major changes. Because of my wife's love for the character, I've been involving her throughout the process, specifically on which shades and what finish she likes for each piece of the model. When it came time for the trim on the hat, we couldn't decide on whether to use Pro-Acryl Copper or Army Painter True Brass, so I did a paint test with each color at the end of the evening, and we just chose the next day. Once we took a closer look, we agreed that copper was the much better choice, and I went to work painting the trim. I feel that a larger model is actually less forgiving than a mini, but it is much easier to do detail, even with my shaky hands. For the raised designs on the boots, I used the copper to keep with the theme and unity of the overall look. After the copper was in place, I went back over the hat and boots with a satin black, slate gray mix and cleaned up all those lines. That's all for this time. I might mix in another project next episode, or maybe continue my progress on Miss Fortune. I'll let you know in a couple of weeks. I hope you enjoyed this video. You can easily show your appreciation by slapping the like and subscribe buttons. Look for me on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, and Patreon. See the links down in the description below. And while you search on your phone for something interesting to do, remember, they ain't gonna paint themselves.